Come with me and I will tell a story. We're going to meet the poet in the 17th century, John Dryden. Chapter 24, from a Book of Faith Seeking Understanding. This Lord's Day I spoke at length with John Dryden about his adaptation of the Nun's Priest's Tale by Geoffrey Chaucer. Dryden said, both Chaucer and I crafted our verse to address the issue of God's prescience and whether God is the author of sin. For instance, I wrote some clerks, scholars, maintain that heaven at first foresees, and in the virtue of foresight decrees. If this be so, then prescience binds the will, and mortals are not free to good or ill. For what he first foresaw he must ordain, or its eternal prescience may be in vain. As bad for us as prescience had not been, for first or last he's author of the sin. I see the problem of placing God's prescience of our action before the divine decree. If God reacts and speaks his decrees based first on what he sees you and I doing, then it seems as if you and I dictate to God what he must decree. His own prescience, as you say, would bind his own will. This would land us in a necessitated and fated world of our own making. Would it not? I asked. Indeed it would, said Dryden. Nor do I see how God could punish vice or reward virtue, especially if prescience comes first. As I wrote, I cannot bolt this matter to the bran, as Bradwardine and holy Augustine can. One thing I know is that we are not forced to sin by strict necessity. This strict necessity they simple call. Another sort there is conditional. Simple necessity is absolute and binds the will. Conditional necessity does not constrain freedom. Absolute necessity implies that God foresees human action is no different than that of animals doing what they're designed to do. Thus galley slaves tug willing at their oar, consent to work in prospect of the shore, but would not work at all if not constrained before. But human actions can act or refrain from acting. Heaven made us agents free to good or ill, and forced it not, though he foresaw the will. Freedom was first bestowed on human race, and prescience only held the second place. My commission. Note the English poet John Dryden's awe. If God could make such agents wholly free, I do not dispute, the point's too high for me. For heaven's unfathomed power, what man can sound, or put to his omnipotence abound?